saw some fuzzy caterpillars. 1, 2, 3. Over in the garden, underneath the moon, each caterpillar spun herself a wonderful cocoon. Over in the garden, right before my eyes, those caterpillars all turned into lovely butterflies. And I'm going to present a fable of the Fox and the Grapes by Aesop. One hot summer day, a fox was strolling through an orchard till he came to a bunch of grapes just ripening on a vine, which had been trained over a lofty branch. Just the thing to quench my thirst, quoth he. Drawing back a few paces, he took a run and a jump, but just missed the bunch. Turning around again with 1, 2, 3, he jumped up, but with no greater success. Again and again he tried after the tempting morsel, but at last had to give up, walking away with his nose in the air, saying, I am sure they are sour. The moral of the story is, it is easy to despise what you cannot get. And I will be reciting for you one of Aesop's fables, The Fox and the Crow. A fox and saw a crow fly off with a piece of cheese in its beak and settle on a branch of a tree. Good day, that's for me, as I am a fox, said Master Reynard, and he walked up to the foot of the tree. Good day, Mistress Crow, he cried. How well you are looking today. How glossy your feathers, how bright your eyes. I feel sure that your voice must surpass that of other birds, just as your figure does. Let me hear but one song, that I may greet you, the queen of birds. The crow lifted up her head and began to call her best. But the moment she opened her mouth, the piece of cheese fell to the ground, only to be snapped up by Master Fox. That will do, said he. That's all I wanted. In exchange for the cheese, I'll give you a piece of advice for the future. Do not trust flatterers. Today, I will be reciting My Shadow by Robert Louis Stevenson. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me. And what can be the use of him? It's more than I can see. He's very, very like me, from the heels up to the head. And I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow, not at all like proper children, which is always very slow. For sometimes he shoots up tall like an Indian rubber ball, and sometimes he gets so little that there's none of him at all. He hasn't got a notion of how children ought to play, and can only make a fool of me in every sort of way. He stays so close beside me. He's a coward, you can see. I think shame to stick to Nursey as that shadow sticks to me. One morning, very early, before the sun was up, I rose and found shining dew on every buttercup. But my lazy little shadow, like an errant sleepyhead, had stayed at home behind me and was fast asleep in bed. Today, I'll be reciting a poem called Being Brave at Night by Edgar Albert Guest. The other night, about 2 o'clock, or maybe it was 3, an elephant with shining tusk came chasing after me. His trunk was waving in the air, spouting jets of steam, and he was out to eat me up. But still, I didn't scream. I let him see that I was scared. A better thought I had. I just escaped from where I was and crawled in bed with Dad. One time there was a giant who was horrible to see. He had 3 heads and 20 arms, and he came after me. Red hot fire came from his mouth, and every hand was red. And he declared he'd grind my bones and make them into bread. But I was just too smart for him. I fooled him mighty bad. Before his hands could call on me, I crawled in bed with Dad. Well, I ain't scared of nothing that comes pestering me at night. Once I was chased by 40 ghosts, all shimmering and white. And I just raced them around the room, let them think maybe I'd have to stop and rest a while and they could capture me. But when they leaped onto my bed, oh gee, but they were mad to find that I had slipped away and crawled in bed with Dad. No giants, ghosts, or elephants have dared to come there, because if they did, he'd beat them up and chase them to their lair. They just hang around in children's rooms and snap and snarl and bite and laugh if they could make them yell for help with all their might. But I don't ever yell out loud. I'm not that sort of lad. I slip from out the covers and crawl in bed with Dad.
I will be reciting Psalm 119, 1 through 11. Blessed are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are those who keep his testimonies, who seek him with their whole heart, who also do no wrong, but walk in his ways. You have commanded your precepts to be kept diligently. Oh, that my ways may be steadfast in keeping your statutes. Then I shall not be put to shame, having my eyes fixed on all your commandments. I will praise you with an upright heart when I learn your righteous rules. I will keep your statutes. Do not utterly forsake me. How can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to your word. With my whole heart I seek you. Let me not wander from your commandments. I have stored up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you.
And today I will recite for you the Town Mouse and the Country Mouse, one of Aesop's fables. A town mouse once visited a relative that lived in the country. For lunch, the country mouse served wheat stalks, acorns, and roots with a dash of cold water to drink. The town mouse ate very sparingly, nibbling only a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and by her manner making it very plain that she only ate the simple foods, just to be polite. Then after lunch, the friends had a long chat, or rather, the town mouse talked to her about her life in the city, while the country mouse listened. They then went to their cozy nests in the hedgerow and slept in peace and comfort until morning. And that night, the country mouse dreamed of being the town mouse with all the luxuries and delights of the city. Then, in the morning, when the town mouse asked the country mouse to go home with her, she gladly said yes. Then, when they reached the mansion in which the town mouse lived, they found the leavings of a very fine banquet. There are sweetmeats, pastries, jams, jellies, and delicious cheeses, indeed the most tempting foods a mouse can imagine. But as the country mouse was about to nibble a dainty bit of pastry, they heard a cat meow loudly and scratch at the door. In great fear, the mice scurried to a hiding place, where they stay a long time, hardly daring to breathe. Then, when they ventured back to the feast, in came the servants, followed by the house dog. And the country mouse only took enough time to grab her carpet bag and her umbrella, and as she was leaving, she said to the town mouse, "You may have luxuries and dainties that I have not, but I would rather be in my safe home in the country with the security that comes with it." Thank you. And today I will be reciting Going for Water by Robert Frost. The well was dry beside the door, and so we went with pail and can across the fields behind the house to seek the brook, if it still ran. Not loth to have excuse to go, because the autumn eve was fair, though chill, because the fields were ours, and by the brook our woods were there. We ran as if to meet the moon that slowly dawned behind the trees, the barren boughs, without the leaves, without the birds, without the breeze. But once within the woods, we paused like gnomes that hid us from the moon, ready to run to hiding new, with laughter when she found us soon. Each laid on other a staying hand. We listened ere we dared to look, and in the hush we joined to make, we knew we heard, the brook. A note is from a single place, a slender, tinkling fall that made now drops that floated on the pool like pearls, and now a silver blade.
And I'll be reciting Captain Conniption by Jack Prelutsky.
I'm Captain Conniption, the scourge of the sea. No pirate alive is as fearsome as me. I'm 10 times as tough as the skin of a whale. The sharks cringe in terror wherever I sail. I'm Captain Conniption, the bane of my fleet. I don't wash my face and I don't wash my feet. I wear a black hat and fly a black flag. I'm as bad as can be, though I don't like to brag. When I'm on the deck with my cutlass in hand, the saltiest sailors start swimming for land. They know I'm the nastiest nautical knave, and bold as a brigand is bound to behave. I'm Captain Conniption and up to no good. You'll soon walk the plank if I think that you should. I'll show you right now how to vanquish a foe. But I hear my mother, so I have to go.
To be fit for God, you and long after holiness, as the beauty and dignity of the soul, let me never slumber, never lose my assurance, never fail to wear armor when passing through enemy lands. Render my obedience to thy will, holy, natural, and delightful. Rectify all my principles by clear, consistent, and influential views of divine truth. Fit me for every scene and circumstance. Stay my mind upon thee, and turn my trials to blessings, that they may draw out my gratitude and praise as I see their design and effects. Let me never undervalue or neglect any part of thy revealed will. May I duly regard the doctrine and practice of the gospel, prizing its commands as well as its promises. Sanctify me in every relation, office, transaction, and condition of life, that if I prosper, I may not be unduly exalted, that if I suffer, I may not be over sorrowful. Balance my mind in all varying circumstances, and help me to cultivate a disposition that renders every duty a spiritual privilege. Thus may I be content. Be a glory to thee and an example to others.
Today I'll be presenting Carmen Possum by an unknown author. The Noakes was lit by Lukes of Luna, and 'twas the Noakes most opportuna to catch a possum or a cuna. For neeks was scattered o'er this mundus, a shallow neeks, et non profundus. And seek a Noakes with canis unus, 2 boys went out to hunt for coons. The corpus of that bonus canis was full as long as octo spanis. But bravier legs had canis never, comet hic dog et bonus clever. Some used to say in stultum iocum, quod a field et too small locum. For seek a dog to make a turnus, circum self from stem to sternus. Unus canis duo poer, nunquam braware, nunquam truer. Quam hoc trio nunquam fuit, if there was, I never knew it. But this bonus dog had one bad habit, about much to tree a rabbit, about plus to chase a ratus, about bene tree a catus. But on this nixie moonlight night, this old canis did just right. Nunquam treed a starving ratus, nunquam chased a starving catus. But securate on intendus, on the track and on the centus, till he trees a possum strongum, in a hollow truncum longum. Carmen Possum by an unknown author.
Today I will be presenting The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert W. Service. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails had their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest thing I ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge, I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why I left his home in the south to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. Though he'd often say, in his homey way, he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold through Parker's fold. It stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes would close, then our lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars were head, we're dancing heel and toe. He turned to me, and Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess, and if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no. Then he says with a sort of moan, it's that cursed cold, it's got right hold. I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet 'tain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. A pal's last need is a thing to heed. So I swore I would not fail, and we started on at the streak of dawn. But God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in the land of death. I hurried horror-driven. With the corpse half hid, I couldn't get rid because of the promise given. I was lashed to the sleigh and seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate those last remains. Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. And in the days to come, though my lips were dumb, and my heart how I cursed that load. In the long, long night, by the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring, howled out their woes to the homeless snows. Oh God, how I loathed the thing. And every day, the quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow. But on I went, though the dogs were spent, and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in. And I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in a trice. It was called the Atlas May. I looked at it and thought for a bit, then looked at my frozen chum. Then here, said I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor and lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found lying around. I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared and the furnace roared. Such a blaze you seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. I made a hike because I didn't like to hear him sizzle so, but the heavens scowled and the huskies howled and the wind began to blow. I was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks. I don't know why. And a greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear. But the stars came out and danced about, ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked. It's about time I looked. Then the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm, in the heart of the furnace roar. He wore a smile you could see a mile, and said, please close the door. It's fine in here. But I greatly feared you'll let it be cold and storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that'll make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the march of Lake Labarge. I cremated Sam McGee.
And I will be reciting Mark Antony's speech from Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I came to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. Let it be so with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you he was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault. And grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men. Come I to speak at Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he is ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that in Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, and not without cause. With what cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart lies there in the coffin with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me.